After some hiatus that Ryan Garcia was not being on social media, he is back and he has a totally new victim in one of the pound for pound kings, Terence Crawford. Now let's talk about what exactly Ryan Garcia said about Terence Crawford. So Ryan asked the host what fight he thinks other than the Errol Spence fight that Terence Crawford looked spectacular and that catapulted him to new heights. And he said, well, the Errol Spence fight is the one that looked good, but I really don't think that he had any other fighter in mind because he did not say any other fighter. Ryan Garcia actually said that Terence Crawford is a bum and he needs to stop stealing money from the fans, which I really don't think he's a bum. I think he is a top level pound for pound fighter and he is one of the best fighters in the world. But I mean, yes, compared to other the old legends, I think his resume lacks a little bit. I also believe Shawn Porter and Yuriorkis Gamboa was his best wins. Well, I believe Shawn Porter is better than Yuriorkis Gamboa, but I mean, they were totally different weight classes, and Shawn Porter actually said that he was on his way out, so he was about to retire, and that's when it was like COVID, and he stopped Shawn Porter, so that's pretty good. And Ryan Garcia also adds if he thinks that he's talking smack, he could meet him in the ring. But Ryan Garcia has been saying this to a lot of fighters, and he hasn't really done. I mean, he hasn't been fighting anybody, and Ryan Garcia is suspended. So I think it's just like publicity stunt, and he's just trying to get more views and clicks and all that stuff. But if they do fight, I believe the fight is gonna have to be taking place at 154 because Terence Crawford has not fought in 147 for like a year. So I don't know if he is gonna be able to make 147. But Ryan Garcia has been fighting at 143. He actually said that he cannot make 140 anymore. So the fight pretty much is gonna be taking place at 147 or at 154 because Ryan Garcia is a big guy and I think he could go up to for sure middleweight. Also, Terence Crawford just fought at 154, but he did not look like spectacular at 154, and I think Ryan Garcia is not gonna look that spectacular at 154 either because there are weight classes for a reason, and that's just a lot more weight. Similar to how I think Terence Crawford will look against Canelo Alvarez. I think Terence Crawford will lose badly to Canelo. The weight is just too much. Sure, Canelo is not as tall as Terence Crawford, or I believe they're about the same height, and Crawford does have like a few inches in reach on Canelo Alvarez. But I really think that Canelo will school Terence Crawford. I gotta give major props to Terence Crawford though. He totally destroyed Errol Spence. But a lot of people did see that Errol Spence did not look the same and he did not look too good. That version of Errol Spence was watered down. And I really do believe there was something wrong with Errol Spence. And that was, I mean, it doesn't matter if he flew through the window because he had already had like 2 fights after that and he destroyed Danny Garcia. But Terence Crawford beat the living ish of from Errol. He beat the living crap out of Errol Spence. But I think a lot of other lesser fighters could have beaten up that version of Errol Spence and the fighters that Errol Spence had already beaten. But I also actually think that Rolly could have beaten that Errol Spence, and also David Albanesian could have beaten that version of Errol Spence. Shoot, I think I could have beaten that version of Errol Spence. Nah, just playing. He would have killed me. Guys, I'm just saying that because I used to box myself for around 2, almost 3 years maybe. And I was in a pretty decent level because I started sparring the first week that I started training. So yeah, I think in the end, like when I didn't want to fight anymore, I was better than Rolly, but I was in a pretty good level. I wasn't really getting stopped or anything like that, and I had pretty good power. But I mean, I was just playing about the Errol Spence thing. He'll kill me.